Hi, it's great to see you. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Cool. Okay, we're going to get started with the program. Please continue to eat. The bar will continue to be open. If you go get a drink while I'm talking, I applaud you. I do not care. So I'm tall, so I'm gonna stand. Can you all hear me in the back? Perfect. I'm Megan Erskine. I'm the CEO of Catherine's Health Center. And thank you. I wanted to thank you all for being here tonight. We have a lot to celebrate. Between 2021 and 2022, we saw a 75% increase in unique patients. Awesome. We built 2 new clinics, one in Wyoming and one in Gaines Township in partnership with Streams. We expanded to full lifespan. We now see kids, and we've added psychiatry and substance abuse disorder services to our scope. We started a partnership with Kentwood Public Schools, my pals over at that table. And we are strategically growing our care for people experiencing homelessness in partnership with Crossroads Bible Church. I know they have a table here. Mel Trotter, AYA, the MSU Street Medicine Team, Trinity, and the Grand Rapids Hot Team. The image that will be behind me soon. The image behind me is the very first entrance of Catherine's Health Center back in the 90s when Catherine's was a free clinic in the basement of a church. These may look like ordinary doors, but these doors were open doors that signaled to patients that when they stepped inside, they would receive open hearts. It is true that Catherine's is growing, but we remain committed to open doors and open hearts. We have updated our vision, mission, and our values to reflect our new directions while honoring our legacy, and I would like to share those with you tonight. Our updated vision is a thriving community free of health inequities. We want people to thrive. We do not want people to just survive. Inequities rob people of the opportunity to thrive. As a community, thank you, Dr. Henry. As a community, we have to open doors to opportunity so that we can all thrive. At Catherine's Health Center, we want to eliminate barriers to health, to support overcoming these barriers and helping people to thrive. When we open doors, all people thrive. We know that health cannot be entirely achieved in the 4 walls of an exam room. We know that social drivers like food, housing, immigration status, implicit bias make someone healthy or not healthy. That is why we are going to partner with our 60+ organizations who address inequities to help make people healthy. We also want to embed ourselves in trusted community spaces so that we're serving people where they are at, right time, right place, culturally humble care. Tonight you will hear from Dr. Coleman, the principal of Townline Elementary School. We asked her to speak tonight because our new partnership represents our new vision. We cannot make kids healthy alone, but when we partner with a nurturing school environment, we can help eliminate barriers to learning because every kid deserves the opportunity to thrive in school and to thrive in life. Thank you for that. Our mission to providing high quality, affordable, and compassionate care remains the same, but we have added to all, because anyone who walks through our doors will receive affirming and accommodating care. We envision a thriving community free of health inequities, but our role is healthcare, and we have the responsibility to do that well. Tonight, you will also hear from one of our patients, Ross Hayes, who makes a positive impact every day. Our job is to provide high quality, compassionate, and affordable care to Ross so that he can continue to make a difference. We will achieve our mission and vision by living our new values every day, and they are social justice, healthcare as a human right, inclusiveness, dignified and affirming interactions, compassion, we ask what matters to you, accountability, reaching goals and keeping promises, excellence, we celebrate the wins, and community, trusting relationships. Before I invite the next speaker on, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Whether it's resource sharing, partnership, information sharing, and of course financial gifts, we cannot do the work that we do without every single one of you who is here in the room tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you a million times, thank you. I would like to introduce Dr. Coleman. She is an experienced and fearless public education leader. We wrote a grant in 2022 to embed a mental health provider at Townline, and then learned that we were getting a new principal. KSSN, Allie, our liaison, set up a meeting, and schools have a lot on their plate, and we knew that this was just another programmatic ask. Dr. Coleman got it right away, and she was supportive from day one because she puts kids first. I am very excited to introduce her to you all tonight, and I'm very excited in working with Kentwood Public Schools as we align our visions in the future as well. So Dr. Coleman, wherever you may be, here you are.
So thank you to Megan for that amazing introduction, and thank you to everyone who is in attendance tonight. It is my goal to help you understand the vision and how it is unfolding for us at Townline Elementary. So before I do that, I was asked to tell us a little bit about yourself. I am a mother of 3 adult, beautiful children. I am fortunate to be have a son-in-law, so a son-in-love, and I also have the youngest member. Let me back up. 1 beautiful grandchild. We call her Queen, and the newest member of our family, and he is my 4-legged furry baby named Ace. So those are my personal joys and why I have done much of what I've done all of my life. So what's my why? When I think about education, all I can say emphatically is that it has always been my calling. Even when you didn't always realize as a young person that education was your calling, I can think back to things that happened in my formative years that I know added to this mission that I stay committed to. So back in my elementary days, I can recall when I could look up and never see a face that looked like mine. Out of all of my teachers and all of the staff that made up that school community, I could never look up and see a face like mine. And so in my school, during those school years, there were experiences that my peers would share, whether they were talking about their summer clubs they were going to, or their new and latest digs and all of the other things. I, at that time, didn't realize, but I was silenced because my experience didn't compare to the experiences of my peers. And so experiencing that at a very early age, I remember the class to this day that I sat in, and I remember when I said, one day, I'm gonna come back to this school. One day, I am going to be that face that little brown boys and girls who are still in this school or this area will be able to look up and see someone that looks like them, to make sure that they knew that they belonged and that they had a voice, and that we or I can see that potential despite how you come in and despite what you may or may not have to compare. So I chose the path because I believe in the limited possibilities of every scholar. Regardless, it doesn't matter how they enter our doors. It's that belief in knowing that we always seek out to serve the students and the families in our urban communities, because they need passionate leaders and teachers that truly want to see them do more than survive. They need systems whose foundational principles are rooted in community, innovation, belonging, and empowerment. Empowerment over their circumstances. I heard Megan mention deficit thinking. We don't want to look at the students and how they come in, but we want to see them through the lens of where they can go. So moving them far beyond surviving and implanting them the ability to survive and to thrive. We have to get better at moving students from that through point. Through is synonymous to me as surviving. We want to move from that through and help them get to the to, where they are able to, from surviving to thriving, by getting at the underlying causes which are below those icebergs of the behaviors. In our schools, we'll often see the effects of trauma. It comes out in their behavior. It can come out in their responsiveness or lack of responsiveness to various interventions that the teachers are trying to implement. But there's always the iceberg. We see what's at the top. But for our students and working with the students that we serve, there's so much underneath that iceberg. And if we don't become better at trying to reach those underlying layers, we are not going to be able to successfully see our students and our communities thrive. The school alone can't do it. We've tried. We've done the best that we can. We have done and we will continue to do the best that we can, no matter what. But our children are a reflection of society and the changes that are happening in society. So as so many things have shifted for us globally, it directly impedes the opportunities for students in school. So the days of us working in our silos and doing this work alone, we cannot successfully do this alone. Today, our scholars experience far more trauma, including, this is not limited to, abuse, neglect, loneliness, hunger, sometimes homelessness, often homelessness, and many other circumstances than our previous generations experienced. Recently, we heard some national data that coincides with the need to focus on mental health in our schools. In December of 2022, U.S. Surgeon General warned of a devastating mental health crisis among adolescents. You can turn on the news, and it's sad to say, it's almost a couple of times a month, we're hearing some tragic news that has happened with adolescents. Also, between 2007 and 2017, the suicide rates for people between the ages of 10 and 24 have increased by nearly 60%. While we may not have direct control over what happens when our scholars exit our doors at the end of each day. Today, more than ever, we must prioritize the integration of systems as a school-based need versus as an other. So long are the days when that mental health support, those coordinated services that we need to see more of in our school, it's not another anymore. It's that and what we do in our classrooms, everything that we're doing to help cultivate the whole child. So let me tell you about how that is manifest for Townline in this current year, first year of implementing this program. So Townline is one of the smallest districts in our district, Kentwood Public Schools. We service around 320 students. We have some students that are transient, like many other schools. They move in, they move out, but for the most part, our neighboring students are coming from areas that are parks, mobile parks or trailer parks, and so and we're right around Division and 60th Street, so if you know where that area is, those are my babies. Those are the students who we serve every day. Catherine's, I learned this year transitioning into Townline as I was getting briefed on the grant and the stipulations and the things that we needed to put in place. There's something that stuck with me that has never left me. One of the qualifications of being able to bring this service to Townline is because the area that we are in is considered a health desert. So bringing these resources closer to the families where they can access this has been critical for our families. So last year alone, one more fact about Townline is that Catherine's Health Center and Streams is virtually located, I want to say in our backyard, but more so to our left. So proximity, or to the right, proximity is huge for a coordinated program like this for our families. So last year, there were nearly 1/3 of our students who were referred for mental health services, nearly 1/3. They were referred by their teachers for either mental health services, emotional services, or behavioral health services. Less than 1/2 of those students were able to be seen by a mental health professional, primarily due to transportation. So we can refer them to resources in the community, but if the family doesn't have access to transportation, that becomes a barrier. The cost that families were expected to pay for the services that they were being referred to. And then there's another key element, and it's a trust. Many of the families that we serve, there is a significant reality that we have to navigate through, and that is that trust to be able to know there is someone or system that can help us, but they're not going to harm us or separate our children from us, or some of the things that they may have already been exposed to. Trust has become a huge piece to why those services have not been accessed. And other barriers that the school alone, Townline alone, was not equipped to support. That created a gap. When there is a gap in services, the research shows that half of all mental health disorders actually begin at the age of 14. and 3/4 by the age of 24. So if we're a K-5 building and we have over a third of our students who have presented that they need that support, but they're not able to access that support, if it went on for years, by the age of 14, these are some of these things that they could be experiencing. Only 7.4% of all youth received any type of mental health visits or screenings each year. Again, this is some of our national data. And then the average delay between symptoms of onset of a mental health condition and treatment, the average delay is 11 years. So the gap and mitigating the gap is critical. Today, I'm grateful to stand here and say that because of the partnership with Catherine's and with Kentwood Public Schools for allowing this merger to happen, this year alone, 100% of our referrals have been serviced. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the inaugural provider of these services, who is housed directly in our school. We have a space allocated just for Catherine's, just for that mental health service, not only for the student, but as you heard Megan say, anyone that is a part of this school community, we want to support you as well, so the parents are also able to receive support right there at the school, as well as extended support that we're connecting them to. So Kinsey, if you would please wave your hand or stand. Kinsey has done a phenomenal job of providing those services for our students, for our students who have been referred and have received support. In addition to some of the things that have happened with this support, and this is the vision piece that I'm hoping to connect when we talk about moving from surviving, because in my story, I was surviving. In many of our students' stories, when you get the resources you need, you know, you need food, you need clothes, we're gonna give you that. You're surviving, but the thriving goes far beyond that. So we wanted to briefly share, I'm gonna try to reel it in. I'm gonna briefly share a story about one of our students this year, where this thriving is manifesting and it's happening. So the process, the way that it works is a teacher will refer a student for mental health services. We have a Ms. Kinsey, and our KSSN coordinator will receive those referrals. And we have a process every week. We meet as a Tier 2 team, and we go through any referrals that were brought in. So this student he was referred by his teacher. There was some housing situations that were causing absenteeism. There were behavior situations that were directly related, again, under the iceberg, directly related to some of the issues that were going on in the home. The mom came in tears because she had no access to counseling. She had she couldn't afford the copay. So we know there's many types of insurances. This mom could not even afford the copay for this service. We now have mom receiving counseling for herself. We have community health worker who is working on housing and helping her to navigate from a very unhealthy situation, which is a direct impact on that student who comes in every day. So we're trying to help provide her with information and knowledge to move into a healthy situation where she can sustain and maintain a healthy relationship and a consistent environment for her student. So that's that evolution that we're talking about when we're talking about going from the through to the to. The through is we're helping them to survive, but the to is we want to do more than survive. We want to help equip you so that you can take what you've learned and then and then ultimately impact not only your child but the community. So I look forward to hearing from Rob, our next guest speaker, because I know he's going to as well share how that cycle has helped him to go from thriving to surviving. So as I close, I just want to remind everyone that if you remember nothing else this evening, please remember that this work cannot be done in silos. That day is gone. It's gone. We cannot work in silos, nor can we work alone. We are doing in the schools everything that we can, and that energy and that the trajectory to help them move to the two is being built as we integrate these services together. So if you remember nothing else, remember we can't do it alone. And when we remove the learning barriers, students thrive, and it will continue to take all of us to make that happen. So thank you.
Okay, I'm going to introduce a video of our next speaker, Ross. As I mentioned before, Ross is a patient at Catherine's Health Center. He makes a big difference in his community, and our job is to keep him healthy and see him as a whole person so that he can continue to do his great work. Roll the clip, everybody. This is what, I don't need to talk about Ross, we got a whole video to do it.
I grew up on the south side of Chicago. We was there for about 15 years, and then we moved here to Grand Rapids. And from there, I ended up moving to a situation where it wasn't comfortable for me, but I ended up going to a prison system, where I ended up doing a B&E. The B&E turned into a murder. And from there, I ended up going through the juvenile system and the prison system. And they sentenced me to life in prison. And with the life in prison, I ended up doing 35 years. I have the support from the Grand Rapids prosecutor's office. Mr. Sawyer, he supported me getting out. He was head prosecutor, and he said that he never helped support anyone getting out of prison. And I was the best candidate for him to support. And my judge, Judge Snow, he moved on, and another judge that supported Sawyer's helped me get out, and my wife, she pretty much spearheaded it all. By me coming out of the system with the parole, I ended up getting involved with community work, as well as they had a called reentry, and I came out. I never was associated with the reentry, but they asked me to get involved with the reentry. And once I got involved with the reentry, I met Ralph Mason and Terry Dixon, and they end up wanting me to be supportive with the inner city, working with different types of groups, and we came up with this group called CLEAR. CLEAR been running now for 14 years in Grand Rapids. It's a men's group, and we do a lot of interacting with the mind and the hearts of individuals that's coming out and making sure they have a support system. From there, that's where I try to keep my positivity around them guys, because they in a profession and they in it for real. So if they doing real stuff, I want to do real stuff by helping the guys that come out of the system. And if they see me keeping it real, they would keep themselves real.
We had met through his sister. We were going to the same church, and she asked me to pray for her brother, realizing that I thought his brother was in town, but he wasn't. He was incarcerated. And from there, she had arranged everything for the phone call and everything. And I was really trying to get out of praying for him because I was one of the leaders at the church, and I was really trying to get out. But she was making it so hard that she said, I'll pick you up, I'll do this, I'll do that. So, and I could, that's how we met. She came and got me and prayed for him.
Well, I have a lung problem called sarcoidosis, and I don't accept what they say is COPD or something like that with the lungs. I didn't accept it, but I had every symptoms of it, and I try to do certain things with what I'm doing because I was an athlete in the system, and I came out, I was still doing good and everything, and all of a sudden one day it just took a downfall. My sarcoidosis inflamed, my lungs had problems, and that's when I connected with my wife's plan with Dr. Whalen.
Well, me, myself, I love being a patient at Catherine's because due to the fact when you had a crisis, emergencies, they got back with you in a timely fashion. They seemed sincere, and I believe that they were sincere with me, through my health care. They told you the pros and the cons, and they didn't mind taking time, which you don't find that much of today. Everything is hurry up and rush out, or you got to be there on time, and there's no time when you get in the room. That's what I have found out, being a patient at other places.
Ross is somebody that has worked really hard at being healthy, and Ross is somebody that is an active participant in his care. He's somebody that has risen to the occasion and really excels when he's given the opportunity to be a leader in his own health care. Through coming through his appointments, through partnering with us in health care, he's gotten his chronic conditions to a place where he has quality of life, where he's able to find joy in life and participate in the things that bring him joy and purpose and allow him to give back to the community. Yeah, but Ross is a joy to work with. He's somebody that when he walks into the room, you feel it and you know it. He's engaged in his health care. He asks thoughtful questions. And again, I think if just by giving him the space, giving him the tools, giving him the chance to regain his health, been a really powerful experience for him. I know about your healthcare journey. I see the chart, I see Dr. Whalen's notes, I see Deborah's notes. So I know, I knew you from a health perspective, but I didn't know that really powerful personal story you have. And, I did some reading on that recently because, you've been for Catherine so long, and I think a lot of people here know it, but I didn't know that story. And I think getting the chance to know you on that level helps me understand you better, where you're coming from better, and I also think how I can provide care for you better. And I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to participate in your healthcare, because you're right, change is hard, and change for people that have been through what you've been through is incredibly hard. And I'm glad that Catherine's can create a space for you to feel safe, feel trusting, and despite the change in providers, you can continue to get what you need so you can be healthy and do that really neat work that you're doing in the community.
I wrote my speech out because they said I had 3 hours. And first, I'd like to give honor to God, who's the head of my life. And my beautiful wife sitting over there. Shirley, could you stand and let everybody see you? We all are gathered here today in behalf of Catherine Care. That's how I knew it, Catherine Care. Them old doors that y'all seen, I walked through those doors for years. And I watched Catherine grow to this here today. And a lot of you people that's sitting out there had a lot to do with the movement that they're moving forward now. I like the part when they said about this little gold thing right here. That little gold thing right there. Do y'all think we can get it again? Huh? I got to stay to the script because they told me 3 hours. Catherine Health Center. I continue to be a patient at Catherine's Health Center. First of all, the care I receive from the team members, PA, which is doctors to me. Deborah, I was so glad to see her today sitting at that table that I was at, sitting next to me. And she had to depart from the one on Lafayette. It saddened me because I don't like change. If anybody know anything about change, you don't like it, right? And I was sad because Deborah had to leave me. Turned me over to Mark. And Mark was a PA, which is my doctor. And for those who remember Dr. Welling, he was the one that provided for me when I first entered Catherine Care. And I love that man. I love him today. And I wish he could have been here today. But Miss Linda, David, Tammy, and many others are awesome. The team they treat me like a family members at Catherine Health Center. Gives me excellent care. The community and the underprivileged patients. Y'all scaring me now. Y'all staring too hard or something, I don't know. But this health center have been good policies which demonstrate an everyday practice that's not just a paper Catherine Care Center, but targets the health needs in our community. I want to continue to see the smiles on the center faces when they win reaching goals. That's our here enjoying this evening to win over the large room of supporters sharing the love. Do y'all know what the love is? Do all y'all know what the love is? Come on now, I got 3 hours. Do y'all know what the love is? Well, I can't tell you what the love is because they have the envelopes in front of you. That's the love. Y'all be blessed and have a good night.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shelley Zomer, and I have a tough act to follow. Several of them, as a matter of fact. And I have the privilege of serving as the president of the board of directors for Catherine's Health Center. It's great to see so many old friends, and I'm hoping that I'll make several more tonight. Back in 1996, I was working at St. Alphonsus Church when creating a health clinic was just an exciting idea of a few hardworking visionaries that have been in that. A few hardworking visionaries, they did all the work. I just wrote along. But I've been involved with Catherine's ever since. 27 years, many conversations, laughs, and tears, and here we are. The what if in the basement of the church is now 7 sites, serving over 3,000 patients and rapidly growing. It's my belief that all of us are given gifts, and we express them in different ways. My mom's gift was food. She shared it continuously by feeding family and friends. My brother's gift, or curse, is problem solving. He's always thinking 5 steps ahead, trying his best to make sure that things are always smooth sailing. Ross, who we just heard from, shows his gift by being a leader in the community. I think my gift is service. From painting the walls in the church basement, to moving the pharmacy into the renovated school wing, to attending countless meetings on where Catherine's is going next. My involvement as a board member is how I can return my gift to society's forgotten, those who have fallen into despair, and those most neglected. I'm also a very satisfied patient of Catherine's. My provider walks my health journey with me, visit by visit. She listens to all of me, mind, body, and soul. I am truly a participating member of my care team. The majority of Catherine's board members are patients. This ensures that the voice of those receiving care are always considered and heard. And finally, my husband Fred and I are proud Catherine's donors. I believe with my whole heart in the mission of Catherine's Health Center to provide access to high quality, affordable, and compassionate health care for all. To support this mission, I go back to the principle of time, talent, and treasure. While I may not have the talent of a provider, I have the time to serve as a volunteer, and I have the treasure to contribute financially so that others may use their talents. There's an old saying in the nonprofit world, no money, no mission. So here's the hook. I'm asking you to join me in supporting Catherine's and the patients we serve. Megan shared with you our vision to meet the ever-growing needs, and we can't accomplish this without the community coming along with us. I'm asking you to make a meaningful commitment and become a partner with Catherine's Health Center. What will your support do? Most importantly, it helps to cover the costs of the costs that our patients cannot. It ensures our clinics operate smoothly with quality trained and professional staff, the latest in equipment, supplies, and technology needed for today's clinical standards. Your generosity helps to start important projects like the healthcare for the unhoused that Megan mentioned. You can make your gift by using the QR code on the envelope or completing the information on the envelope and returning it to our staff at the registration table. Please consider joining me as a Catherine's Club member by making monthly gifts while receiving special updates in return. However you can support us with your time, talent, or treasure, it truly makes a difference for our patients. Thank all of you for being here tonight. I hope this isn't the last time that we see each other. Please stick around and enjoy the bar and each other's company. All of us at Catherine's are incredibly grateful for your partnership. Thank you, and have a good evening.